It's October, the month of Halloween, and while it has been years since I dressed up in costume and went door to door for candy, I still get tricks and treats in the form of movies. Whether they be horror or thriller, or monster action movie, or dark comedy, or any combination of those, there are plenty of movies out there that are perfect for the Halloween season. Sadly, there are several movies that other people haven't even heard of, let alone seen. So I'd like to rectify that a little bit today by giving you guys a small list of a much longer list of movies that I hope you'll find the time to watch and enjoy as I have. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. This 1920 German silent film that Roger Ebert called the first true horror film is a dark expressionist film that has had a large influence on cinema tropes in horror and noir since its creation. The story follows a man named Francis who tells the story of a man named Caligari who presents a man named Caesar that he keeps in a box, and a crime wave that occurs after their appearance. The man who plays Caesar, Conrad Veidt, is probably best known to Americans as the Nazi Major Strasser from the 1942 film Casablanca, and less known for being the character that inspired the Joker from his character in the film The Man Who Laughs. This film has a very bizarre and distorted look, and on a late Halloween night in a dark room, it's totally worth at least one watch. Number 9. Play Misty for Me. This 1971 movie was Clint Eastwood's directorial debut. The story follows Dave, also played by Eastwood, a DJ that starts a relationship with a fan, which leads to a very dangerous and obsessive situation. It's a good start for a great director and totally worth a watch. Number 8. Let Us Pray. Set in a small village in Scotland, Let Us Pray focuses on a small group of people in a police station where a mysterious man says that all of the people there will pay for their sins. I don't want to go too far into this plot for spoilers' sake, but the things these characters have done is very extreme, and the penance forced upon them is extreme in turn. This is a gory film with a look into the darkest of humanity. Number 7. Stage Fright. This Canadian musical horror comedy is, well, I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it's great and it is fun to watch. Imagine if the cast of Glee was sent to a theater camp version of Camp Crystal Lake. The main character, Camilla, is the daughter of a singer who was killed backstage after a performance of The Haunting of the Opera, a Phantom of the Opera reference even worth more of the name since Minnie Driver was the woman who was killed. After the theater camp decides they want to do the same musical, campers are killed off one by one with songs in between. Also, Meatloaf. What else do you need? Number 6. Love in the Time of Monsters. Two sisters visit a tourist trap with a Bigfoot theme, and aren't there long before a chemical-filled lake turns some of the co-workers into monsters. This is a horror comedy with some good emotional acting in it as well as humor, and Doug Jones plays a very overqualified doctor that helps find solutions to the problem at hand, but his character has a cutoff that makes me think that they only hired him for a couple of days. He doesn't really get a resolution. Other than that, I really enjoyed this movie, and I think it really is worth your time. Number 5. Dread. This film is not for the weak of heart. Based on a short story by Clive Barker, the film follows Stephen, who decides to help his friend Quaid with a school thesis covering people's fears. It starts with interviews, but Quaid wants to take his project to the next level, making people face their fears to see if they can deal with and survive their ordeals. Stephen is played by Jackson Rathbone of Twilight and The Last Airbender infamy, and this movie leaves you feeling a very distinct sense of dread. But not because of those movies. Number 4. Bad Moon and Late Phases. These movies are tied because of their subject matter. They're both werewolf movies, but I feel that the protagonist in each film is what makes it worth a viewing to me. The film Bad Moon's protagonist is Thor, a very protective family dog that senses something is very off about his boy's uncle, who has come to visit. Some of the practical effects in this movie are excellent, while other areas are lacking, but it was a film I thoroughly enjoyed, if not only for the fact that I got to see Dennis the Menace swear. In Late Phases, the protagonist is Ambrose, a blind war veteran that moves into a retirement community with his seeing eye dog. As his neighbors begin to get attacked, Ambrose suspects what is happening and takes matters into his own hands. I think this is a great creature double feature. Number 3. Black Sheep. This 2006 New Zealand black comedy horror film follows Henry, a man who lived on a sheep farm and is scared to death of sheep. He He returns to his childhood farm to sell his shares of it to his brother Angus, but Angus has been carrying out experiments trying to make the perfect sheep, and in doing so has made his sheep carnivorous. The ensuing disasters are ridiculous, but also ridiculously fun to watch. Number 2. Arsenic and Old Lace. I love this movie. I watch it every Halloween like clockwork, and I hope I can make you guys see why. Mortimer, played by Cary Grant, comes home to his aunt's after getting married in secret and discovers a body in the window seat. Thinking that his cousin Teddy, who thinks he's Theodore Roosevelt, did this, he insists that Teddy be institutionalized, but his aunts tell him that they killed him. The rest of the movie is Mortimer trying to maintain his sanity and keep his aunts in line while he tries to figure everything out. The movie makes me laugh every time I watch it, and hopefully will become a regular Halloween watch for at least one of you. And number 1, The Void. This movie, guys. This movie is a miracle in the making to me. Let me explain the plot first. Policeman Daniel picks up an injured man on the side of the road and takes him to a hospital that is in the process of being shut down due to a fire. After arriving, things go horribly wrong. A nurse kills the patient, and he kills the nurse. And also cultists are outside making sure that no one leaves the hospital. I really don't want to go too into detail because I feel like this is a movie that needs to be experienced, not just watched. It's really hard to get cosmic horror right in film, but I feel it was done right here. And that's all I really want to say. Well, that's my list. I'm sure that there are several that you feel might have been left off this list, but this is a very small portion of a long list that I would like to give people. Considering the length of my past 2 videos, I think I'm just going to limit it to these 11, the 2 that are tied in 4th. But I hope that some of you watch these movies and enjoy them for your Halloween season. Thanks for watching.